What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday to everybody. It's Monday, so it means that me and Bash are coming back at you guys talking about the soon to be 2024 season. We have the preseason's all over with. And we're still dealing with the Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams contract situations. We got injuries to talk about, and maybe some questions about the 53-man roster and players that me and Bash we didn't really talk about this before the stream. Guys that we want to see make the 53, or that we think already are going to make the 53, and some other stuff too. So everybody who's in the stream now or who's going to watch on the rewatch, thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. If you're on Twitter, jump over to YouTube. Subscribe to me, 49ers First Takes, and subscribe to Bashar's channel, 49er Minded, where you get inside the minds of 49er fans, right? Okay. I kind of butchered it a little bit, but
yeah, no. It's okay. No, you got it. Well, we get into the minds of 49er fans. I'm multitasking. I'm literally trying to send a link to some friends while we're talking. That you probably don't see me with my phone out, but that's what slowed me down a bit.
You can stare at your phone. That's okay.
I kind of wish I had a secretary to do these streams and let the whole world know that I'm on or do things on the fly.
Yeah, if we were like big enough, we could have somebody actually run our board and
I know,
be watching the chat and stuff. But we're lucky if we get 20 people.
A fucking viewer.
A fucking viewer.
That a wise man once said.
As a wise, yeah. But thank you for coming through, everybody. So it is October. Yeah. Okay. August 26, 2024. It's 8:06 p.m. Eastern time. And Brandon Ayuk is not signed to a new contract. And Trent Williams is still holding out. So I guess we'll start with the most obvious first. We saw CeeDee Lamb get a contract extension today. And I mean, the Niners have wasted time. They have dragged their feet, whatever you want to call it. But the Niners really, and Brandon Ayuk, this is like the 11th hour of contract negotiations. I mean, if the Niners go into the regular season, Bash, with neither of these guys on the roster, or they're missing games and getting fined, a chance to go to the Super Bowl again, every game that they miss just seems more and more unlikely. So what do you got to think about all that? You can go whichever direction, Trent, Ayuk, whatever.
Whichever direction. How about I just not talk about this because it's like we saw Brandon. I saw the pictures of Brandon Ayuk in the video. Brandon Ayuk walking in the tunnel with Debo, and everyone's like, look, Brandon Ayuk's with Debo, and he flew out with the team. And then I didn't even look into what the reason was. Supposedly there was another reason behind it where they forced him to fly with the team or something. And now today, CeeDee Lamb signed for God knows how much. There's a 32 million or 34 million, some ridiculous.
I think it was like 32 million.
Crazy amounts. I mean, it's like a bad dream, man. Almost like just wake me up when the dream's over. And same goes for Trent Williams. It's like, come on, Trent. I thought the whole thing was that we were giving you an extended vacay, and now that we gave you the vacay, it's your time to sign. But I forgot whose report it was. Somebody put out some positive report that the 49ers are, all gas, no brakes on this Trent Williams stuff, and look out for a deal to be done soon. But again, I've heard that about Ayuk for months now. So who knows? Just get these guys in there some way, somehow. So we can start.
According to some people, this was a formality. Guy who raps for the 49ers. I know I'm not a big fan of Travis King, and he posted something the other day about everything was a formality. It's been almost 7 days. He's still not signed. People, don't listen to anybody on Twitter unless they actually are in the building every day talking. Whether it's, to me, it's Barrows and Mayoko. That's all I care about. I don't care about anybody else, not even the national guys. We've had so many stories. We've had so many almost stories where like, oh, he's coming with us. He took the plane ride. That's going to mean something. None of it means anything. I don't believe any of it right now. The reason we're talking about it is just because we're 49er fans and we're trying to figure out why our number one receiver as of August 26, 2024 is still not signed to a contract extension. The Niners have had all offseason to do it. And for some odd reason, whether it's the 49ers don't look at him or view him a certain way, which is understandable because there's about 3 or 4 receivers that you could say are better than him or command the money or the salary that they're getting. So I understand that viewpoint. But at the same time, this whole them shuffling their feet and not doing anything, it's just a bad look going into a season off of another Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah, it would be nice if they just get it done. I mean, I get it. Like, I forgot what month it was or what the date was. It might have been post draft, but there was a period of time where the Niners did take the initiative to try to get this Ayuk thing done. And Ayuk and his agent were like, "No, we're going to wait till a whole bunch of other people get signed, and then try to get it done." And maybe they were waiting for CeeDee Lamb all this time. I don't know. So I didn't even know CeeDee Lamb's damn contract was up. I had no clue. But it's ridiculous now. It's just I hate it. And there's nobody good that's going to give us a good wide receiver in the trade form of a trade. Maybe the Browns, but supposedly Ayuk didn't want to play for the Browns, and I don't know. I just think it's annoying and stupid and dumb. And even if Pearsall was 100% healthy, he's back at practice now. Let's say Pearsall was 100% healthy and he looked amazing in camp. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still going to want to sign Ayuk. I mean, I don't know, dude. Just bring Ayuk on. Just do something. Make it happen. I hate this. It drains me. It really does.
It is super draining. It's super draining because we're, one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the best rosters in the NFL, and we have a GM and a coach that have been together a long time. We have a guy that does contracts in Parag Marathe, who's been around a long time, and coming off of what was probably the most disappointing Super Bowl loss since the last most disappointing Super Bowl loss. It just doesn't have the vibe going into the season. And I know a lot of people, if we go 13-4 this coming season, will say, all you idiots panicked before the season. And it's not necessarily panicking. It's just the vibe is not what you'd want it to be, considering what kind of supposed window we're in and coming off of the bad Super Bowl loss. It like hey, Peter Parker says, just a lot of bad juju right now. There's just not
juju,
and we're going to talk about the injuries in a minute, but you couple that with the injuries and it's not a good feeling. I'm just not happy right now as a Niner fan. Now, the season doesn't start for another 12 days, 14 days, 10 days. I don't know. So I'm just waiting for it all to just work itself out. I just think it's really crazy. Not Amendola said, but he used to play wide receiver for the New England Patriots. His name is escaping right now. He was talking about how Edelman. He talked about usually you win the Super Bowl and then you worry about contract extensions. He goes, they take care of themselves. Everything will happen if you just win the big game. And the Niners doing everything completely opposite of that. So
I mean, but winning the Super Bowl and losing the Super Bowl to me had no bearing. They don't bear. It doesn't have any bearance on signing people, though. I don't think. I just think it's just a timing thing. Their contract happened to be up this year. We could have been 2-14, 2-15, or whatever, and Ayuk's contract could have popped up. Or same with Trent Williams. It just happened to be a year that we were in the Super Bowl. We were really close to winning, but I just don't think our success or however successful or unsuccessful we are have any bearing on when the contracts are supposed to be paid out or the new deals are supposed to be done.
So Mario made a good point, and I thought he was still doing the contracts regardless of where he was. But he's talking about how Parag Marathe is actually in England
because soccer team, yeah. I guess he's doing everything over the phone or something, or
I don't know who exactly is the guy that's involved in these contracts, but from what it's been sounding on social media, Mario, it's the same people that are always involved. But you're right. Maybe there's some sort of lost in translation, literally, that something's going on. Maybe it's just a little bit harder because
he's got a calculator in England somewhere.
What do they call
tea and crumpets or something?
What do they call that thing? Abacus.
An abacus. He probably can. He could probably work at Abacus like Albert Einstein or something, for all we know.
So he says that York is in charge now with the contracts. That is weird. That's weird because I would
Well,
assume he doesn't have know anything about contract negotiations. That's a tough job to do. The fact that Jed must be the guy that's doing them, that I don't know. I would have to see it to believe it on that one. The thing that scares me more than anything, even more than the Ayuk situation, because Cowing and hopefully Pearsall come out of this training camp and start this early part of the year promising. Trent Williams is the one that really bothers me. There was a talk that it's all just to get him to miss training camp and that he'll be there for the regular season. But according to the reports, he's not showing up until he gets a new deal, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. As me and you have stated, the Niners really should have got a tackle in the draft. They didn't do that. The Niners have been afraid to take tackles in the draft. And now, they could possibly go into the season with Jalen Moore and Colt McKivitz as their two tackles, which would be a nightmare because we saw how they looked in the preseason, even against backups. So Trent Williams, I don't know, I just list Trent Williams to me is even more important because he protects the blind side of a quarterback that is not very big and has an injury just a couple years ago to his throwing elbow that you don't want to have re-aggravated or have him take a bunch of hits, because the first preseason game he was in, he was taking a bunch of hits. Do you agree that Trent's probably more of the is more of an important?
There's only one Trent Williams.
Yeah.
At least on this team. Yeah, I mean, some say he's the best in the league. I don't necessarily want to go that far with Trent Williams, but he's definitely top three at worst, top three. If not, he is the best in the league. But at the end of the day, yeah, we don't have anybody anywhere close to replace him or to even play spot duty. So for some reason Jalen Moore is ahead of Chris Hubbard on the depth chart. I have no idea why. Is that with Chris Hubbard's experience, and I just from what I saw in the first preseason game, at least when Chris Hubbard did start left tackle, I thought he looked way better than Jalen Moore did. But to Jalen Moore's credit, in a real game that matters, whenever Jalen Moore has been plugged in real games, spot duty, he has looked a lot better, even though it's compared to this year's preseason, perhaps in a real game compared to this year's preseason. Jalen Moore just looked like a better player. I don't know why. And I heard all these good things about Jalen Moore in camp too. Like, oh, he had a really good rep against Bosa, and a couple good reps here and there versus Bosa. And at one point, the audience gave him an applause break because they were very impressed. And it's like, okay, I hope we can develop these guys and get them better and have them going up the best of what we have to strengthen our depth. But it almost like when you watch the Raider game or watch the preseason game before that, it's like, are these guys ever going to get better? I mean, what did they have any upside? Did they just look like? It's like we draft some players, especially offensive linemen sometimes, and it's like, they barely look like they belong in the NFL. When that part, and we didn't draft this guy obviously, but I didn't even know he was on the squad until he literally looked like a matador in that Raider game. Was Brandon Parker? Apparently, he's a former Raider and he's got 7 years of NFL experience. He looked like straight trash on one play, dude. I'm going a little off tangent, but I'm just talking about us developing linemen and working linemen in. And I don't know, man. I think Forrester, if we woke up one day and they said Chris Forrester, for whatever reason, was fired and we happen to hire some guy that was an upgrade, I'd probably celebrate, because I truly think that we may have a more assertive offensive line coach that pounds the table on draft day and says, hey, aren't you going to bring me some damn talent? I'm tired of working with scrubs and trying to make a Las Vegas style buffet out of
chicken salad
out of prison food or something. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. Like if I was Forrester, I'd be furious. Like, okay, cool, you guys drafted Dominic Pooney, that's fine, but what about all the other help that I need on this offensive line to protect our quarterback? And I'm supposed to be the coach. I get it. The coach does need to coach up players and develop players too, but it's just we don't do enough in that department. We really don't, in terms of seeking talent. We're very bad at seeking talent in that. And when we did finally draft a guy that a little bit in the higher round, hey, it looks pretty good so far. And you could make the argument that Dominic Pooney does look like a first rounder, which is nice. I just wish he was a damn right tackle rather than a right guard.
We have Bobby Turner as one of our running backs coach, or is our running backs coach. He's an old man who's been around for years. He worked with Kyle's daddy. We have one of the best linebacker coaches in
Johnny
you know him.
Holland, KJ
Johnny
Wright
Holland.
helps out.
We have Chris Kasurek, right? Those lines, even, you know, not everybody's a star on the defensive line, but, you know, for the most part, we do have a pretty good set of players that play defensive line and linebacker. I just, for the life of me, you're right. I just feel like when I'm watching the preseason game, watching this past preseason game, the Niners just don't look at offensive line as something of importance, and it shows, dude. They look porous, porous. Like for a team that is competing for Super Bowls and has a bunch of expensive players on their offensive line is like one or two injuries away from being like bottom tier of the league, like NFL Europe type talent. It's just rough. I don't like it. Pooney's great. Kingston might be a guy that we can use. I don't know if he would see him as a starter, maybe a backup. Both of them gave up, they give up maybe one pressure between them in the preseason. I know they went against backups, but you go against who you go against. So that is cool. But like, man, offensive line to me, especially the fact that you've lost 2 Super Bowls to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Chris Jones has ruined both of your days, both times. Especially this last one where he blew up a potential touchdown that could have won us the Super Bowl. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, whatever. Can't talk about it anymore. But
on that play, you could have put the worst offensive lineman on planet Earth in front of Chris Jones on that play, and just had him engage with Jones for a little fucking split second. But we all know what the retard Burford did on that play, and he didn't even engage him. All he had to do was freaking engage him, and then we get a touchdown. That was like. That has to be the worst play I've ever seen by an offensive lineman in any Super Bowl by a mile. And it pisses me off. I'm so glad Burford lost his job to Dominic Pooney.
Peter Parker doesn't like Trent, doesn't like Jalen Moore either, or Colton McKivitz. So he agrees with us on that one. Yeah, Trent holding out. I would pay Trent before I paid Ayuk. But what is weird is Trent already got his contract. Like,
I don't understand this.
What are you doing, dude? You have money coming to you. Yeah, it's not guaranteed, but like every year you're like on the verge of one injury, like ending the rest of your career. Like I don't know, man. Like he's really, really good, Trent Williams, but he is injury prone, and you just like you look at him and you watch him and you're thinking, can he go another 3 years? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. If they win the Super Bowl this year, which is a chance, there's a chance, but no guarantee. Does he retire and then leave them in a lurch, or is he going to play until, the end of his contract? I really don't know. I don't trust him to play till the end of this contract. I don't know about you.
I trust him a lot more if we had better guys backing him up. I don't know. It's weird because it's like they say, oh, well, look, Jetty's got his extension, CMC got his extension. Oh, cool. Well, I want more guaranteed money now. It's like, and then we as fans are not supposed to say that players are greedy and the players are doing what's right for them, and we shouldn't call them greedy. But it just feels like greed, though. I'm sorry, it totally feels like it. Like I know, like unless Trent Williams is the biggest spender on planet Earth, I almost feel like he's probably living this like standard of life that very, 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 very few people live.
If he's living a life like Ric Flair, where he's always broke, styling and profiling,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's what it seems like.
Some people, though, I mean, the more money they make, their spending goes up, and I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why he wants all the guaranteed money. I have no idea, man. I just want them to get a deal done, get it done. I really thought it was going to come as soon as the preseason game was over. That this Monday, maybe we see it tomorrow. Who knows? You mentioned Ric Flair. Do you know that Sid Justice passed away today?
Yeah, Sid. Yeah.
Sorry. Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious. Sid Justice.
Sid Justice. Isn't Sid Justice another wrestler?
Sid Justice, I think, was It was WCW.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Or vice versa. I don't know. Yeah, he passed away. That sucks.
Yeah, rest in peace.
63. That was a big man. That was
big, huge dude, man.
Yeah, he was.
He looked like he could play football, man. He could put on a D-line, defensive end.
He liked softball, though.
Softball.
He wanted to retire from wrestling because he loved softball so much. Yeah,
What?
there's interviews about it. Yeah, he was a weird guy, for a big strong. He's
a freak of nature, dude. He made Hulk Hogan look like a wimp. Like if you stood next to Hulk Hogan.
Hogan looked like trash anyways with his hot dog skin and his sweaty, like stringy hair, but that's a whole other thing. I can't believe we're talking about this. He's not on our team anymore, but it's a topic and we got to talk about it because I want you to get fired up. I want to see the old Bashar Trey Lance.
I don't think there's much to get fired up about. I mean,
they're still talking about it, man.
Yeah. I didn't catch it on my Twitter feed. Maybe I caught what I did catch was something that RG3 tweeted. Like he posted a video of the video of Trey Lance. Our topic is Trey Lance, our former quarterback, who me personally, yes, me 49 Bashar. When he was on our team, especially when we first drafted him, I was dying to see the guy on the field. Wow, he's got a big, strong arm. He's 6'4". We were told pretty much that we drafted a 6'4" Russell Wilson with brains and all this stuff. And, he's this prodigy and he's just going to take the league by storm and all this crap. And, the injury was very, very unfortunate. I was at the game when that happened. I thought that was terrible. I just didn't like the way he was used. But at the end of the day, I mean, the idea was that he just wasn't necessarily ready to run the 49ers offense. Like if you see how methodical Brock Purdy is with this offense and other people who've ran the WCO, West Coast offense in the past, the Bill Walsh offense, whatever you want to call it, 49er offense, there's a rhythm, there's a timing in it, but Trey Lance coming out wasn't that guy who had a touch on the short passes. He didn't have any touch. It was kind of like Kaepernick in that regard. Kaepernick had some early on success, but we never really got to see with Trey Lance. And a lot of people made the argument, well, just throw Trey Lance in there because by default, this team has a great defense and great running game, and those factors of the game will help carry the team while Trey Lance has his on and off struggles. And if Jimmy G was around and Jimmy G was playing bad, I could kind of make that argument a little bit. But the problem is Jimmy G gets hurt, right? We all know the story. Brock Purdy steps in there, and some people may have thought it was a flash in the pan because of the few games here and there where he balled out, played nice, and then he had that crazy injury, and then for me, I was still kind of holding out hope. Like, all right, Trey, you've been working out with Patrick Mahomes. You've been you're trying to win your job back some way, somehow. This is your chance to do it. And here comes Purdy in camp. He came. I mean, he was saying he still had pain. He didn't feel normal up until November of last year. But here comes Purdy early on in camp, and freaking doesn't miss a beat in camp. He doesn't miss a beat in week one. After we lo and behold trade Trey Lance. Week one comes around. Trey Lance plays very nice against the Steelers, and from that point on, I never looked back. I'm sure you could say, "Oh, Bashar, you rooted for Trey Lance all this time. You wanted him to be the guy." We wasted the whole farm on him, right? I wanted to see what we had on the field with the guy. Well, I mean, but at the end of the day, though, I can at least admit that, okay, first we traded him, so I'm not going to worry about him too much. He's no longer a Niner. If you're a Niner, you're a Niner, and I'll see what you can do as a Niner. But we traded him. Purdy balls out week one. I moved on completely from if they were to throw Trey Lance in the game or do whatever, at that point I don't follow the guy, And even in the preseason, right now, I didn't really follow him. I didn't watch the games. I saw some highlights here and there. I read the stat line this past week that okay. So RG3 puts out the video. He gets a really, really nice 46-yard touchdown. My first thought was he looked way quicker and way faster as he ever did in a Niner uniform because he looked slow with us, dude. And then when you see Purdy running around scrambling with all his awareness, Purdy just has better scrambling and better awareness than Trey Lance. But Trey Lance did look nice running on that 46-yard touchdown pass. But keep in mind, he was the only quarterback who took snaps in that game. That kind of tells you something. That I don't know what the plan Cowboys have in mind with him. Cooper Rush is clearly backup number 2. And you can ask Cowboy fans that who they want as the backup. They'll tell you it's Cooper Rush. I've seen them all over social media say that. And they don't have an investment in Trey Lance like we did with all those picks and all that, And on top of that, Lance threw 5 picks. And it is what it is. I mean, you throw 5 picks. I know preseason doesn't matter, but if you're throwing 5, it's just at the end of the day, it just tells you that Kyle made the right choice. And at the day, I put this out as a little message on my community board, us trading that pick away for a 4th pick and getting Malik Mustafa in return, or trading Trey Lance for a 4th round pick. That's a W for us. So far, so good, right? It's a W. And Lance needs way more time than a lot of us anticipated. And anybody who knows football without any bias should be able to say that.
There's people out there that are taking the stat line of both Purdy and Trey Lance in the preseason. I think it was the last game, and saying that even though he threw 5 interceptions, he still had a higher quarterback rating through the game. I mean, that's what we're doing, people. That's what we're doing. Listen, there was people who made their whole YouTube channel or their whole content like the topics that they would use and centered it all around Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, and they just thought that Trey Lance was the better choice down the line, and they thought that Trey Lance, it was just they didn't believe in Brock Purdy. They thought he was a nice story. They thought he was a cute little quarterback that he's a system quarterback, but in the end, if the Niners would have given the same opportunity to Trey Lance, we could go farther. We could have won the Super Bowl, whatever. There's people out there that bet their whole reputation on that. And because they lost out on it, they still won't let it go. They still want to let it go. We know who they are. They're very well-known content creators. There's a group of them. They all have very much what they call group thinking, and it's never going to go away. It won't go away. People are waiting for Brock Purdy to fail. They're waiting for him to come back to earth. That's what it is. I think it's sad. He's not a problem anymore. He's not on our team. And he's probably going to be holding a clipboard because they're not dressing 3 quarterbacks in Dallas. So say what you want. Have all your strong feelings about his athletic ability and how he was screwed by Kyle Shanahan and how Kyle Shanahan didn't give him the opportunity. He got hurt. That's it. He got hurt. Brock Purdy came in, took his job, and that's the end of the story. That's all there is.
And the fact that he was the only Dallas Cowboy quarterback to take snaps in that last game. A lot of times when that happens, that quarterback usually isn't around on the roster when the real games start being played. So
right, yeah, they're almost like they're showcasing him for another team.
It could be. That could be.
Me and you talked about this, or if it was me, it wasn't me and you. It might have been my buddy James or Raj, one of you 3. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, you'll remember.
Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, keep talking.
You saw what was that? Had anything to do with Lance or the quarterback, or
it has something to do with Lance, and I totally forgot it. It'll
come to mind. It'll come to mind. Yeah, I know that happens to me a lot too. Well, hopefully it comes to mind. In the meantime, we can see what the comments have to say. Let's see. John V's got some comments.
John V's saying he's got 3. He's got 3 Trey Lance jerseys.
Yeah, I saw that one. I told him he could send them off to the Ukraine or something. Can you
get him restitched and have him put Dobbs on the back? I mean,
John V said there's this company that makes these Velcro name attachments to the back of jerseys, and they even match the color and everything. So who knows? That could be. You can put Dobbs on it. There you go. Well, last year Randy Gregory had that number. So
yes, he did.
And Randy Gregory retired. You know that? I thought it'd been cool for us to get him, but
no,
I heard he retired.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
He was on the Cowboys.
If you don't have the heart to play, it's the best thing to retire. Playing in the NFL, if you don't have the heart, can be dangerous. So,
do you remember what you were going to say about Lance or the quarterback? Or
no, I totally forgot. I totally forgot.
So one of us said it or something like that. Could have been Raj.
I have no idea. I just completely had this thought that I wanted to kind of seal off this conversation with.
I think I know what it is. I'll give you a hint.
You'll give me a hint.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a hint, guys. I don't know if this is it though.
Uh-oh.
If you don't think it's it, just don't say it. But it may make you laugh.
He's DMing me.
All right. This is top secret, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that was it, but that's a wild card. Oh, okay.
That's another, people are out there talking about.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it, what you just typed, but who cares if he threw to 20 different receivers in the preseason? He's not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. What I was going to say, and I just remembered, is if the 49ers were a team in a full-on ass rebuild, yes, You let him play and let him suck. The days of Peyton Manning throwing almost 30 picks and still staying the starting quarterback and the coach still staying the coach, it doesn't happen anymore. The window for quarterbacks to become successful in this league is quick. And the Niners have so much money invested in their roster, you couldn't wait for them. I'm sorry. But like, oh, we could have experimented that 1 year and then no. If you have a window to go win a championship, why in the hell would you waste a career and a year of some of your star players? There's no guarantee. Somebody could get hurt and be done and their career could be over. This whole thing, like, oh, we could have wasted a year or we could have used a year, that year that I think it was like
because he has this high ceiling. That was a thing I remember.
He can run really fast. He's a good runner.
I remember we're like at week 15. We're like week 15 of last season, and somebody was telling me that me personally, I'm overhyping Purdy, and that all of a sudden you're a Brock Purdy homer. I'm like, no, he's winning all of us over because he's balling out of control.
You were pissed that the Niners really weren't giving him the opportunity.
I felt like it, but at the end of the day, Shanahan was right.
You and Ted were both like, I don't know about this Purdy guy.
But Ted took forever to jump on the Purdy bandwagon. It was week 1, and that was it. I was done.
But he admitted that he's a pretty damn good quarterback. Listen, Purdy's never going to be that guy who can make throws with his eyes closed and whip the ball around the field behind his back. He just doesn't have that kind of physical ability. But he's the best quarterback we have as far as what's on our roster, and he gives us the best chance to win a championship. If you put Trey Lance on this roster with these players and you lose games because you want to give them a chance to grow, a lot of these players are going to be like, get me the hell out of here. I mean, I don't know, like Devontae Adams, how long is he going to stay with the Raiders? I mean, he made that choice. He signed that huge contract to get paid. But you have only finite amount of years in your career, and this whole thing of like, yeah, we're going to keep him and we're going to have him, we'll win, we'll lose with them. Like, there's no way. If you have a chance to win a championship and you think your roster is ready to go, why in the hell would you experiment with a guy? Like, the Niners screwed up. They made a bad pick. That's what it was.
It got to the point where we're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. That's what got to the point of. And it's unfortunate for Trey Lance. It really is. I really wish another team had drafted him. I really wish we held on to our picks. But hindsight's 2020, of course, right? But obviously for this roster, for the team we have, it's like there's no way in hell we could ever wait with all these big time contracts that we're paying. Like you better throw a quarterback out there that's ready, or else you're wasting careers of these top dog NFL players. And the same goes for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys don't have time to dick around and wait to give somebody 34 games under his belt to say, hey, he needs all these reps to develop. They're obviously sticking with Prescott, who had a pretty good year last year. Obviously he did. Cooper Rush is a good backup quarterback. And it is what it is at the end of the day. He's not going to be the Dallas Cowboys long-term plans unless they really decide to keep him around, but he's definitely not in their plans to throw him around. I mean, why aren't these people who are lobbying for Trey Lance so hard and I thought he was so much better than Purdy? Why aren't they saying he should be Dallas's number one right now and go that far? Because they're stupid. And then the funny thing is, Purdy always beat the pants off of Prescott whenever we played Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. So it's like, what more do you want to prove that for you to admit that Purdy's good? I mean, it's like, oh, Purdy's not good, but Trey Lance is a million times better. That's a very tough pill to swallow, dude. I don't know. I just can't. I'm just shocked that we have people that are that biased about certain players. I've never been like that.
I 100% agree with John V saying here. He says, I fully support Lance. I can face the reality that the Niners effed up drafting him. Yeah, 100%. And he says to unreasonable expectations to a win now team. Can we agree on that? Yeah, it was a stupid draft pick. It was unnecessary. I mean, I know, with the situation with, Jimmy Garoppolo being your starting quarterback, but I mean, the Niners, they did the same thing when they drafted Solomon Thomas, and Reuben Foster, and they eventually had to go pay for those positions because they screwed up so bad. The Niners have made some great draft picks, some great choices, and some late round picks that are full on stars in the NFL. And then they make picks like Trey Lance. Everybody thought they were going to draft Mac Jones. A lot of people thought maybe it would be Justin Fields, but they went with the guy with absolutely minimal experience. He played not even a full season. Was it a full season or a little bit under a full season?
That's the most overrated quarterback draft class that I've ever laid my eyes on.
They're all bad.
I know. Is
crazy. Trevor Lawrence a star? Do you think Trevor Lawrence is a star as a quarterback?
I was never that high on Trevor Lawrence coming back.
Not either.
And I had so many people tell me I was dumb. Had so many people tell me I was stupid. And I'm like, dude, I'd totally take Brock over Lawrence in a heartbeat. I don't care about Trevor Lawrence's measurables to the point where I take him over Purdy. No, I mean, he's decent. He's cool. He's a good quarterback, but like I don't think he's ever going to wow me. I really don't.
Trevor Lawrence kind of reminds me of Troy Aikman, where he had a really pretty good college quarterback. He was drafted to be the future. And it took him years to kind of realize that once they surrounded him with Irvin, that big offensive line. You know, Irvin was already there in '89, I think, but like Emmitt Smith, and then that whole defense, like Troy won, but I don't even start. I'm just saying, like,
but who's
Trevor? I'm just Troy Aikman. We're talking about Troy Aikman. It just reminds me a little bit with Jacksonville. Like he had maybe he comes on this year or next.
I'll say this about Troy Aikman though. He did win and he's got the Super Bowls. But anybody who says that Troy Aikman, another Cowboys quarterback, anybody who puts this out there that Troy Aikman was this amazing, great statistical quarterback, go pull up his career stats and put them up with other correct. You'll be surprised at how poor
his stats are pretty pathetic. He wasn't like he had great games, and a lot of them were against the 49ers back in the day. But you look at Troy Aikman's numbers, man.
He had the best offensive line I've ever freaking seen, dude. His line was just amazing, dude. I'd kill for an offensive line like that on the 49ers. I want to clarify this, Mario. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I said, really? You were saying this back then, Bashar? I'm not sure what he's talking about, but if you want to clarify that, go ahead.
It might have been the fact that you were big on.
I rooted for Trey Lance because it was before we even had Purdy. Way before we had Purdy, and I was sick of Jimmy G.
So was I.
And I was sick of Jimmy G, and we
going into that
every pick on planet Earth to get him. Yeah.
The season we went into where we ended up facing the Eagles when he was the third stringer, Purdy, all of us were hoping that Trey Lance would have a phenomenal season. Nobody ever thought in the million years that the third string quarterback out of Iowa, who was the last pick in the draft, would end up being the best quarterback that they've had.
I wish she knew me before I had a YouTube channel, because I was saying to Purdy's junior year, the 49ers should draft him in round 3. Because some friends of mine put me onto him and were telling me about him. And then I started watching him because he was really, really good his junior year at Iowa State. Okay, hang on. Said you weren't impressed with Lawrence at the time. You still would have taken Purdy over Lawrence. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go as far as say, I'm saying right now, I would, easily I would take Purdy over Lawrence now. That's kind of what I meant. I just had people going into last season tell me Lawrence was amazing.
Having all you can have all the physical tools in the world, but if you're a bad quarterback in pressure situations, I mean, Dan Marino is one of the most talented quarterbacks that has ever been in the National Football League, but Dan Marino was an awful playoff quarterback. Awful. People are like, oh, his team this, his team that, whatever. Mark Clayton, Mark Duper. He had some receivers. Some guys are regular season quarterbacks that they put up a ton of statistics and then they get in the playoffs and they shrink. And then you got Brock. Say what you want about him having all these players, but he still had to make the throws on those drives at the end of those playoff games this past year. Like, he played amazing. Do I think he's the second coming of Joe Montana? Probably not. He's got to win a couple Super Bowls first, but I'm totally comfortable with Brock Purdy. I think this is I think overall we have a really good quarterback room. I don't know I know you agree.
Oh yeah. I mean, even if Brandon Allen is number 2, I
even like Tanner Mordecai a little bit, to be honest with you.
I was hoping that they would trade Brandon Allen some way, somehow, and they keep Dobbs as number 2 and keep Tanner Mordecai. It doesn't look like it is.
It could happen at some point. We have quarterback injuries that happen. You never know.
And according to people coming, according to people that have been at camp, all the beat writers, they keep going on and on about Shanahan having this love affair with Brandon Allen apparently, and that therefore he's going to be number 2. And so it's kind of weird. And Mario, really quick, I can admit I was wrong. He said if you were tooting the horn about Purdy, I was his junior year, and I didn't discover him. People told me about him midway through his junior year, and I completely forgot about Purdy once we made that crazy trade to get Trey Lance. So I kind of just like forgot about Purdy. I was like, okay, now I'm on the Trey Lance trade. I was flip flopping, and it is what it is, But lo and behold, hey, we got the better of the 2 players, and I'm happy. So we should all Niner fans should be happy.
Sentinel says, it's effed up. Kyle didn't invest in O-line to make Brock either. O-line.
Oh yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Sink or swim again.
Yeah, we talked about that.
They
earlier.
can either lowball him, and the media will prey upon his sophomore slump. We'll see if he has a sophomore slump. I think this whole team has a chance to have a slump this year, just based on last year and based on how things ended. I've watched some interviews with certain players, and you can they're not like they were last year. Like Fred Warner and Christian McCaffrey, when I watched them in interviews, I sensed something is off. Maybe that's just me because I'm an overall negative person. I have a negative mindset.
This is good. This is called good cop, bad cop, right?
I'm very New York. Okay. I'm very New York. So New York people by hook or crook we're negative ass people. But California. I sense it. Yeah, you have more of a California vibe. Like, that's what's cool, man. Like everything's all right over there. We're not like that over here. I know it's better over here, but I don't know. I've sensed some vibe too. But yeah, I hope they don't love Brock Purdy. That would be just absolutely disgusting. The Niners as an organization do lowball their players though in contract negotiations. Bosa was asked about it during training camp, and he said it was brutal. Contract negotiations are really bad. The Niners come in with really, really low numbers because that's what you're supposed to do in contract negotiations. So I don't know.
Yeah. What we do know is that we're going to have to pay Brock next year. And the old adage story is back. I don't want to talk about contracts too long. I really, really don't. But, it's like, it's not our money. I get it. And, the players aren't being greedy. They're just doing what's right for them. And those are the cliches coming out there. But at the end of the day, just get these damn things done so we can win some damn ball games. And as far as the vibe, what some people were trying to say was maybe it's just that they know it's preseason and they know it's training camp right now, and they know because 49ers have really, really long seasons, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Either we go to Super Bowl or NFC Championship game, one of the two. So it's like they don't want to burst out with all their energy all at once right off the bat and then be drained towards the end of the season when it really, really matters. So maybe they're just conserving their energy, so to speak, or conserving their enthusiasms. That could be part of it. Some beat writers kind of threw that out there. So who knows? I think once week 1 and what comes out, I mean, I can't pick. I can never picture Purdy just lollygag out on the field and dog it. And if he sees anybody out there who is doing that in his huddle, he's gonna chew them out, dude. He's gonna say, hey, you better separate. Better get open and run those routes. Not this crap where I'm standing here holding the bucket for 3 seconds, holding the ball for 3 seconds. And so it's, and the same goes for Fred Warner and the defensive huddle too, right? I don't want to see that Chase Young bull crap that we saw last year in the playoffs and, where he was being lazy in the NFC Championship game. And, he did okay in the Super Bowl, but still, man, it's just, this team's got to be hyped up when it really, really matters, when it counts. And we could lose every preseason game on planet Earth and maybe a couple guys get banged up in training camp, so to speak. But when the real bullets fly, you better be ready. So case in point, Ricky Pearsall jumped into practice today. Still wearing a blue jersey, wearing a shoulder brace. No, he caught at least one pass. Isaac Guerrero missed a whole bunch of weeks, and he jumped right in.
Wow.
He barely practiced with the team. And man, wow. I was texting my friend.
Wow.
Because I've been saying the Niners never draft these height, weight, speed guys ever, especially running back. And then I was texting a few of my friends. I don't want to jump the gun, but I was like, dude, we have a freak of nature on our hands. We got a freak of nature on our hands, man.
That kickoff return was beauty. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
He's big and he's fast.
Yep.
if you're a height, weight, speed type of team, some teams are. They draft based on height, weight, speed.
The Raiders were famous for that.
Yeah, they're always about speed, like guys that can run like a 40-yard dash really fast. I kind of gave up on Garendo because Mason looked really good, and of course you have Christian McCaffrey. But now you think about it, they have
Cody Schrader.
Cody Schrader was playing well in the preseason. Burrito was here. I knew he was going to get cut. People are like, "Oh my god, I can't! How could the Niners do that?"
He hasn't. Have you seen what he's done with the past teams that he's been on? He hasn't done anything.
We have John V and Peter Parker kind of going at it with each other. You guys, you can have your own opinions on.
Oh, look at that! They got the boxing gloves on. I like that, man.
Yeah, if you got the feelings of like, I think personally that there's a chance that there could be a little bit of a regression this year with this team, just based on having played a lot of games the last couple of years and not getting it done. It happens. It's human nature. Do I think Brock Purdy maybe takes a small step back? Possibly. But I don't think he's going to all of a sudden forget how to play quarterback in the National Football League. First of all, he's in a good scheme. He's in a great scheme. He's got great players around him. And he's a studious guy who studies the game and takes his craft very seriously, on top of being a religious, God-fearing guy. So he's a kind of a really good all-around human being. So just because you admit that the Niners might have maybe take a weird step back this year, or maybe they start slow, or they just seem a little bit, like, dude, losing 2 Super Bowls in 5 years or 4 years or however many years it was, it takes a toll on a franchise. It takes a toll on coaches. Right now players will, deny it till they're blue in the face, but you ask guys later in their career or when they're stopped playing, if the losses had, had an effect on their psyche down the road, of course those guys are going to admit it, but they're never going to admit it now. As far as
go ahead. I have a question.
As far as injuries go, we had a list the other day. Both of our backup edge rushers went down in the same game within the same drive. We lost Leonard Floyd. He hurt his knee. He's day to day. Yetur Gross-Matos is week to week. What'd you think about that? I was like, we were already thin. We're still thin at edge right now.
Yeah.
But man,
it was a scare. It was a scare. You know what's funny when that happened? I'm assuming that, since you have DirecTV, I'm assuming when you were watching that they give you the Greg Papa, the Bay Area broadcast of the preseason games. The preseason games are usually broadcasted by the team's official broadcast team.
I had it on. I was watching it on NFL Network, and I had the
Who
NFL
were the announcers?
App.
Who were the announcers?
It was all the Raiders guys. I think it was.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It was. I don't know one of the guys.
JT the Brick. That homer.
No, it was Matt Millen was one of them.
Oh, Matt Millen, former Niner.
He looks so old and different.
I haven't
now.
seen him in years. I haven't seen him.
And the quarterback,
last time I saw him was like 2008.
And the quarterback who used to be there in their last Super Bowl, I think it's Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon.
Yeah, Rich Gannon. The guy I just mentioned, and then some other guy. I didn't know who the other
guy was. It's probably JT the Brick, Ferlin, or it might have been somebody else. Maybe somebody in the chat would know. Okay, so watching the 49ers broadcast, because it's the radio broadcast team that does, so Greg Papa, Tim Ryan. And once Floyd went down, it was kind of funny. They said, like, Greg Papa's like, oh man, Floyd's down. He's been doing this a lot in practice where he'll have plays and then he'll be down for a little bit, then he'll get up. And this is before the commercial break, and I was like, oh, okay. So they go to the commercial break. I literally said a prayer for Floyd. I literally did. They come back for the commercial break. He's up. He's kind of limping off the field. I was like, okay, cool. He's back. And then later they showed him on the sidelines. He was walking around normal and he was goofing off and laughing with people. I was like, okay, maybe it's not gonna be so bad. But they still said they had to check him tomorrow and do a thorough check. And yeah, but knock on wood, we did definitely dodge the bullet with that. Yeah, and hopefully him and Yetur Gross-Matos is fine. Hopefully we can pick up when these roster cutdowns come these next few days, man. Expect us to pick some defensive ends. I don't know who's out there that we could possibly get. Maybe some guys in the chat might have some ideas. Maybe you have some ideas on that.
Yannick Ngakoue is out there right now.
Ngakoue is out there. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody has him.
I mentioned Randy.
He had a
Gregory
down
earlier.
season last year, so I feel like he could be got.
He was on the Bears last year, right?
Yeah, I think he only had like 4 sacks. Yeah. To me, it's all about experience and guys that can come in a pinch, or guys that uses depth. Mm-hmm. They're not coming in to save the franchise. We have Nick Bosa when healthy, and I think our other defensive end, former Ram.
Robert Beal, former Ram. Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd. I think he's a comparable. I think he's a pretty good player. Robert
yeah.
Beal, I have absolutely zero faith in.
Robert Beal, in the beginning, I saw him look pretty bad against the run sometimes, but he did some stuff the Raider game that kind of opened my eye a little bit. I was on some run plays where, you know, that thing where like they kind of run down the line of scrimmage to the other side and they make a tackle. He was doing that type of stuff, and he made a few nice plays against the Raiders. Now I haven't seen him make any big plays in pass rushes yet, but you know, he's another height, weight, speed type of guy. He actually put on a lot of muscle and some weight this season, and I think he found a way to do it to still maintain his speed. 49ers are really good at doing that, getting people in proper shape. So we just needed to translate on the field. It's what we need to do. And it's really hard for me to follow what's going on in the chat. But I see that they're John.
Yeah, I see a lot of. I see Sentinel. I see John V.
Yeah, we all know John V is my guy. He's awesome. Whenever I have John V on, I have a lot of fun.
Passion is real with John.
And, great guy by the way too, man.
Sentinel, you think this is a soft reboot year?
I don't know. You know what this could be? Okay, look. Unfortunately, they did it at our expense. But it just kind of an example I'm throwing out. If this team does have a slump, like I saw the freaking New York Giants lose 6 games in a row one season and win the damn Super Bowl. And it was that stupid year that we had Kyle Williams and we messed up, whatever. But so who knows what can happen this season? Yeah, you were going to bring up Manti Te'o, and John V just brought him up the chat.
John V, I actually have a clip. I want to play it for you.
Let's see it.
Let's listen to this hullabaloo or whatever. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Give me 1 second.
There's a look that you see when somebody truly believes they're better than you. And I think for the past 5 to 10 years, we've got so accustomed to the San Francisco 49ers walking around not only the NFC West, but the NFL in general as these big bullies. You watch Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel coming out of the locker room with that bump box, and you watch them get into that scuffle in the pregame, and you watch their dominant defense and their run game. We got so accustomed to that. When I flipped on the TV and watched their past 2 preseason games when their starters played, and I just see an emotionally drained team. They've been to the NFC Championship 4 in the past 5 years. They've been to the Super Bowl twice, and they lost that Super Bowl to the same team. It reminds me of when I was with the Saints in 2017. We had the Minneapolis Miracle. We had to suffer that. That is just emotionally draining. Then the very next year, we play the Rams in the NFC Championship, and we have the no-call PI. We go through that. I can only imagine for the San Francisco 49ers what that feels like. And then I put on, we just saw the Seattle Seahawks preseason game, and you see that party that's in there.
Yeah.
The first drive, Geno Smith goes down there, hits Jackson Smith and Jigba, hits DK Metcalf, and that's without Kenneth Walker. That's without Tyler Lockett. And they're out there having a blast. Mike Robb's on there. Michael Bennett's on the broadcast. It's just a party. It's not the same, you know, when I watch the San Francisco 49ers. So they're not the favorite for me.
If he's, you know what, unfortunately, I don't know if it happened to you, but that video completely stalled on me. I only saw about 30% of it at best. So I don't really have a strong take on it, but I do have.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, but this
He's
is
an idiot.
I mean, if he's basing that off of watching teams play in the preseason, really, Manti Te'o, really, I mean, don't get me started with the jokes. I'm not even going to say the jokes. Just watch Manti Te'o's Netflix.
He's a dialect coach, dude. You can't even speak right.
He's a dialect coach. About? What dialect is he teaching?
He's got to speak the American language. What is he talking about? How hard is it to say San Francisco 49ers? It's really simple. Just say it.
Was the video stalling for you, though? Because for me, it was stalling.
Oh, it went all the way through, baby.
I only saw part of it. So, but it's okay. I got the gist of what he was saying.
Guy had a fake girlfriend. He was catfish.
I know that. I just say watch that Netflix documentary if you want a good laugh. That's all.
John B's blood pressure is getting high. You watched that video, John. I know it did it. I wasn't necessarily mad. It's just like, shit, Papa J.
Now I don't feel bad that I don't have the channel NFL Network anymore. If he's one of the analysts,
because they were having fun in the preseason and that they were having fun in the booth. Apparently, he said the Niners have the last 5 or 10 years have been the team. It hasn't been the last
It wasn't 5 or 10 years.
5 or 10 years. Like maybe like
So 2019 till now.
2019. So the last 5 years or so, we've been a really good team other than 2020.
We had a down year,
right?
one down year.
Okay. So first of all, he's off with his timeline because he's an idiot. Secondly, he's talking about the Niners and what they look like in the preseason. He thinks that their energy is different. Like there's a sense of like they're beaten down or whatever because of the loss. He says they're not their favorite just based on body language from the Seattle Seahawks preseason game.
Wow. Yeah, preseason body language means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. Yeah.
Papa J says he has no idea what he's talking about. He's not in the locker room. He's not out on the field listening to players. He's bringing up his own experience and feelings into this. Yeah. I just when I watched it today on Twitter, I feel sorry for the guy because he sounds like an absolute buffoon. And then secondly, like, who's Manti Te'o? Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, who made you the authority on? And all the people that are like sitting there with him are like, yeah, 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 They're like agreeing with him. It's just like because you could tell
I don't watch those shows.
Sitting there with them think it's stupid. So
those shows suck, dude. They've gotten worse and worse throughout the years. That's why I'm so happy I don't have NFL Network now. If he's an analyst on there, I was gonna say something else about him, but I don't remember.
Well, I mean, you got Twitter. If you don't want to watch ESPN, there's people on YouTube that are fools that make up narratives and have a bunch of people follow them and are all a group of like thinkers of the same thought. So it's not just on network television. I mean, you have a whole group, a cult that follows certain content creators who are exactly the same way. So if you like that sort of thing, they'll probably agree with that video, knowing them. So
yes, sir. They sure do.
You said you had an article or something from, I forgot, you wanted to bring up during the stream.
Oh, it wasn't necessarily an article, but I mean, we're about to close up shop pretty soon. I'm assuming doing the time constraints, but I just wanted to talk about I think, me personally, at least me, I think this is a really, really good 49er draft class. And I still have some good hopes for Pearsall too. I'm not going to say he's the second coming of Cooper Kupp or any crap like that, but I'm just saying, you know, he's going to starting to practice and they'll ease him in. I just think overall though, even Dominic Pooney looks like a first rounder. Let's just say that. Can we agree that Renardo Green looks pretty nice so far? And they're not real games. I get it. I know. I mean, who else is Malik Mustafa, the safety? He's looking really, really good. Who else?
Jacob Cowing,
Isaac Guerrero. He barely practiced with the team. Jumps in, looks like a beast. Jacob Cowing, looking really, really nice, making plays all throughout preseason. Jared Kingston, I heard some good things about him. I didn't notice it during the game so much, but I've been hearing some good things about him. Pretty big dude. Tatum Bethune. Tatum Bethune looks pretty good. Yeah, all those guys, man. I just think this is going to round out to be a pretty nice draft class.
Yeah, I think the Niners have a chance to have one of those. Somebody called it like a window extender, where like you hit on a draft class like they did possibly this year, and it can kind of extend the window as you start to lose certain players. Because you got to think about it. Debo is a physical type guy. He plays a certain type of football. Is he long for the 49ers? Is Kittle long for the 49ers? That's why, to me, the IU contract is a no-brainer, and it's frustrating to me. I know maybe they don't view him as other teams view their guys because maybe Ayuk isn't to that level, but he's younger. He doesn't get hurt, and I can see him. He can get off coverage. He can beat people in coverage. Debo's more of like a Swiss Army knife, you know? And when you have drafts like possibly this year's draft where you could hit on 2 wide receivers and a running back, it's a good thing, you know? And then you get a couple defensive stars out of it too. It's a good thing. Like it
looks like Kyle finally hit on a running back in the draft in the early round, right? Remember they always say Kyle wasn't good at drafting running backs.
Well, we'll see. Garendo still has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's early, but we'll see. And Jordan Mason, I mean, he was not a rookie, obviously, but Jordan Mason looked pretty good too as CMC's backup. I like both those guys. I don't know about Elijah Mitchell anymore. It just seems like he fell off after his rookie year, and it sucks. And 1 year he did come back, and he They threw him in there, and then boom, he looked really, really good, and then he got injured again. So it just sucks for that guy. It really does.
What's your thoughts on the 53 dropping tomorrow? Do you think any crazy surprises are going to happen? Do you think the Niners? Do you think that they somehow get both contract negotiations like they've been lying to us?
I hope they do. I don't know, man. It's hard to get excited about contract negotiations. Who do I think is going to be cut or gone? I'm going to be really quick with this. I don't see Ambry Thomas making the team.
Nope.
Ronnie Bell. It's going to be between Ronnie Bell and Chris Conley. Something tells me. I heard some really good things about Ronnie Bell today in practice. I don't know if that's going to be enough to save him. I like Conley because he's a veteran. He's got a ton of experience.
You got to keep Conley.
Conley looked good in the Super Bowl, and I don't know. Conley's faster too, and he's got good size. So I'd rather have Conley. But some people like Bell. That's going to be interesting to see how that shapes out. Who else is the linebacker? I like Danny Gray's gone. Danny Gray's good, but gone. He's just gone. There's no way he's making the team. Practice squad at best, if he's lucky. Tay Martin probably goes back to the practice squad, which makes sense. Running back, let's see. Yeah, I mean the tight ends, Cameron Lotso. I wouldn't mind seeing Cameron Lotso on the practice squad. I know a lot of people don't like him, but there are times where he looks like a big dude that gets downfield. It's very rare to see a guy his size like get downfield on deeper shots down the field. So I just think they need to work with him more, try to develop him a bit more. Why not? Even Mason Pline too, though. That's another big dude that we have a backup tight end. But yeah, safety. Jalen Mahoney's had a good training camp, actually, pretty good preseason, but I don't see him making the squad just for the fact that it's a numbers game. So that's unfortunate, but some other team will probably pick him up unless he somehow sticks around on our practice squad.
I feel like safety. Some people say that the Niners are leaning towards putting a Hufanga on the PUP list to start the season.
Yeah.
There's a chance. I mean, I'd protect him, especially the fact that Mustafa and, Jair Brown look really good. And Odom's a good, solid player. I wouldn't rush him back.
Odom's solid.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the fact that Odom might be the starting free safety, but if he earns it, why not,
There's a lot of conversation going on in the chat that
I know I can't follow it.
I have to go, but
it's too much. It's like a fire hose. I'm being sprayed down with a fire hose.
John V, you need to start like a Google Hangout or something, like a YouTube Hangout, and just get on there and just let it out. You, Sentinel, Steve-O, you guys need to do that. You need some because I'm lost what's happening right now, and I know
my nickname for John V is the Greek Destroyer, by the way. So. The Vornado.
I just if I've been on stream with John before, and it's best to just let him do his thing, man. He's good. John, you're good, man. I would love to stream with you again. You make me. I mean, I don't even have to say anything. I just let you talk. But what
do you think about Braden Willis? That's what I want. What do you think about this guy, Braden Willis? Because I personally I won't blink an eye if they cut him. I really won't.
I could care less about either of the tight ends.
Okay.
Latu or Willis. I think they both suck. Sorry.
And then one more guy,
Womack. Sherbert or whatever his last name is.
So bad. How about Womack? Womack was telling me during that Raider game, hey, cut my ass. I don't want to be a 49er anymore. He was looking like ass at times.
What was that coverage in that deep throw?
There were multiple plays where he messed up too. It wasn't just that play.
Yeah. Womack go.
So but in general, I like these cornerbacks. I think Luter makes a team. I heard a lot of really good things about him.
So who's the starting four corners? We got Chavarius Ward. We have Diamador Lenore. Who's in the slot? Is it Rock Ya-Sin?
So Yadam is the corner number 3. He's actually, from what I hear, yeah, I think Lenore's going to be the starting corner as a nickel, perhaps, and Yadam's going to be number QB. CB2.
So Renardo Green would be corner number 4.
Yeah, Renardo Green's number 4 from what I've been hearing. But he very well could get a chance to be he very well could possibly be out Yadam. I don't know. Yadam's got experience though, so we'll see. And Rock Ya-Sin isn't bad too. Rock Ya-Sin wasn't bad.
Yeah. I think Flanagan Foles is out the door. I think you keep D Winters, Tatum Bethune.
Linebackers, I mean, in absence of Greenlaw. In absence of Greenlaw, these linebackers really had a nice camp.
Bell couldn't catch a cold. Yeah, Bell's pretty bad.
Yeah,
he's a pretty shitty player.
Greg Cohen was hyping up Bell today in practice, so that's why I mentioned his name. But I'm not the biggest fan of him though.
Grant Cohn would try to sell water to I don't know. I forget how it goes, but he's like a greasy car salesman. He'll sell you on anything. I don't believe anything that guy says.
And John
if
V.
you like watching him, power to you.
God.
But I just, yeah.
John V. Larry Krueger was saying that Womack is too talented to be cut. So maybe he just had a bad day at the office. If that's the case, I don't know. He just didn't look.
Didn't Larry Krueger say Isaac Guerrero should become like a tight end or something, or a fullback? Or
he was saying fullback for a long time. What he was right was he was saying that way before Guerrero stepped into camp. He was saying that the 49ers, one of the reasons that they drafted him was probably to use him for the new kickoffs. And lo and behold, one of the first kickoff returns he has in the preseason
I figure if you fire enough darts at the board, eventually you're going to be right about something. So I wouldn't get too excited about it.
Well, he ran that kickoff really nice. He looks like he's going to be good at it. So.
It was really nice.
Him and Cowing. I like Cowing on returns too.
Yeah, because Ronnie Bell and the rest of those guys, they look idiots back there. They have no idea what they're doing. So yeah.
Way better than that Ray McLeod crap that we had last year too.
We got to say this: the special team still looks like trash.
Oh my god!
Coverage wise, we're bad. Want to lose a Super Bowl a different way? Like last year when we fumbled in the Super Bowl, we touched the ball.
Oh, that was so lame. Are you ever going to get used to that new kickoff? Because I'm not. I don't even understand what that stupid rule is.
It's weird on Madden. Try to play it on Madden. It's really strange. I almost returned to kickoff though. I had Debo doing my kicks, and I think I had Danny Gray, and I almost went up the right sideline, but I got caught right at the end.
I forgot who it was. I don't know if it's somebody I streamed with. Or somebody I was just talking to randomly. They were telling me that they put CMC.
That's pretty funny.
As a kick returner. Schrader's 5'8", 200 pounds. He's got kind of a stocky build. He's just really short.
Man, that's tiny.
He's quick. A lot of times when I saw him out there, though, I'll say this: the run blocking was ass. It looked like shit. So
he's too small.
Yeah, but we'll see. He's probably a practice squatter. He's got to be a practice squad.
If I'm a defensive end, I'm trucking his ass. I'm not even trying to hit the quarterback.
Hey, speaking of getting trucked, did you see when Trey Lance threw the pick six? How bad he got trucked on that play?
Yeah. Sorry, Trey.
Trey. Don't be sorry for Trent. He's gonna be one of the richest offensive linemen in NFL history.
He's already the top paid guy. He just wants more guaranteed money because he's got to secure his family's future.
Because he's not being greedy. I know he's not being greedy.
Peter Parker says we're still looking for a tight end too. Yeah, dude, it's pretty pathetic that they can't hit on tight end. That's the two. They don't draft tackle and they can't hit tight ends. And they may have drafted a running back this year. Maybe. We'll see. Latu is going to make the team, John V. Well, if he does, so? I don't mind Latu at times, though, man. At times he looks nice. So there are other times where simple things are thrown his way. It's like, dude, what are you doing there, man? He just looks too green for me. That's why I'd rather have him on the practice squad, but we'll see. Got a little color in my face today. I was out in the sun. Color? Oh, okay. A little more yellow than usual. So, all right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back next week, probably next Monday, me and Bash, and we're going to try to be every Monday during the regular season. Little post Monday evening quarterback or something. We'll see. And if there is a Monday night game on, we'll have to figure something out. Maybe come on Sunday or on Tuesday. So everybody have a great rest of your evening. Sorry I couldn't really get into the conversation in the chat. You guys are super passionate. It's really hard to follow that. It's really hard to follow, but I thank you for coming in here for the few that were in here on YouTube. So me and Bash will talk to you guys next week. Everybody take care, and I'll talk to you later. Adios.